Hey there, cats and kitties. I am the Blues Man, Johnny Blues, and with this video, I'll be discussing my thoughts on Ash vs. Evil Dead, a TV series follow-up to one of my favorite film franchises, and one that I didn't actually stumble onto until about somewhere within the last 10 years, believe it or not. And I'm kind of flabbergasted by that fact, because I was a fast fan of them. They blew my mind, they rocked me with awesome sauce, 6 Ways to Sunday, and seeing this series, I mean, I've been a long-time fan of Bruce Campbell, having seen him going all the way back to like Hercules, The Legendary Journeys, the Xena series, a couple of his own series, you know, Jack of all trades, those kinds of things. And of course, cameo upon cameo upon cameo in lots of different movies. And I've read his book, If Chins Could Kill, at least 4 times. It's just a riveting piece, you know, telling pretty much the making of the initial Evil Dead film. And so to have this TV series, 10 full episodes with a second season to follow, I mean, it just wrapped with its 10th episode a couple of days ago as of the time of this recording. And, you know, for all intents and purposes, being the season 1 finale and knowing that the story will continue in another season, I'm just all kinds of stoked because this series was all kinds of badass. I mean, just kind of loosely talking about it in an overview format. I love that we're picking up with Ash, and, you know, it's kind of loosely 30 years after the second Evil Dead film. Now, because of some litigation and, you know, rights ownership and everything like that, they can't really fully acknowledge Army of Darkness, which is kind of a shame, but I feel like the series is that much better for it because it's grounded in the most familiar aspect of the series, that cabin in the woods and everything like that. I feel like budgetary-wise, it's probably a smarter move that because they don't have to worry about all kinds of crazy creature effects, even that much more than what you already see in the series, which are phenomenal as far as I'm concerned. But, you know, you're loosely picking up 30 years later with an Ash as he was left off in, you know, Evil Dead 2, and he's trying to be all pimp. You know, there's lots of great music, I have to say, in this series, but I read a quote where I think it was Sam Raimi who was saying, the music is kind of indicative of the regressive nature of where we're picking up with Ash, in that this is music that, you know, it's tapping into the world as he still perceives it. It's still kind of like the swinging 70s, and he's Mr. Pimp, and he's trying to get laid, hang out with ladies and everything, and trying to impress this woman in the first episode with this foreign poetry, air quotes, that is supposed to, you know, turn her wild. And so he pulls out the Necronomicon, which he still has in his possession, reads some of, you know, the words in there, or has her read it, whatever it is, and this unlocks more Deadites and more demons and more evil on the world, which is what, you know, instigates this particular journey. He ends up taking in tow a couple of sort of co-workers in the form of Pablo and Kelly, as portrayed by Ray Santiago and Dana De Lorenzo, who is exquisitely gorgeous as far as I'm concerned. But I just love that this partnership is very impromptu at the beginning, but on this journey, you know, they're basically trying to go back to the cabin because Ash has been told, this is where you have to go. You have to go back to the hallowed ground of where this all began, that cabin, if you want to put it to bed again, if you want to stop all these demons from attacking and all this kind of stuff. And, how this personally affects the lives of Kelly and Pablo is quite interesting as well. You know, they end up going to Pablo's uncle's place, who's like sort of a shaman, if you will, and he's trying to get Ash in tune with ways that he can best this, and inadvertently has this demon erupt out of the Necronomicon as a result of this and all this kind of stuff. And on his tail does he have 2 women. One is basically an investigative police officer who's kind of like, you know, been told, stay away from this case, you know, all of these cases, because her partner ends up being murdered. But she's portrayed by Jill Marie Jones, this Detective Fisher, as well as Lucy Lawless playing this character by the name of Ruby, who by the end, it seems like there's a lot more going on. I don't want to get into too much spoilery territory, but she has much more of a deep-rooted connection with the Necronomicon, and it seems like she will be a central figure in how this all plays out. And it's just absolutely hilarious. You know, they're dealing with demons and Deadites and all these things every episode. And there's tons of gore, tons of blood splatter. It is absolutely just, you know, engrossing to watch. And it's kind of gross too, but in an awesome way, in a very cool way, because it's over the top. And that's one of the things I really loved about, you know, the Evil Dead films and Army of Darkness. Not only do you have this sort of badass equivalent character that is Ash, but at the same time, you know, This is still that regressive Ash who is going to kind of try to take shortcuts and not necessarily be the hero you think he is. He's going to bow out if he can, or if he thinks he's going to get something out of it and everything like that. And that's very much kind of where we leave it by the end of the 10th episode, the finale for season 1. He kind of has bowed out, but he's done it for a greater good, because we see that this Ash is still human at heart, even though he puts on this very sort of detached and, ladies' man-esque, not really being, I guess you could say, couth in any sense of the term, with the things he says and sort of the racial jabs and this, that, and the other thing that he is known to utter, because he's just kind of like in a world of his own. He still very much has this ingrained heart that sees him risking himself and risking the greater good of the better part of the world, all of the existence, for his friends that he's made on this journey in Pablo and Kelly. And it's just from beginning to end. I love it. Like every episode, every minute of every episode, my eyes are glued, and it's just absolutely awesome sauce from beginning to end. And as I say, that 70s like rock, sort of soundtrack. You both have the music sort of score themes that are being carried over, because the cat who scored the music for the Evil Dead movies, he returns effectively. But I really love the actual soundtrack of all these 70s classic rock hits and everything. Just really rubs me the right way, and it really personifies kind of where Ash is coming from. And I love that about this series, and I love just the mythology of it and everything like that. Even without, as I say, that Army of Darkness quotient, I feel like it's better served the whole way around for this particular series. You can sort of equate it. I've heard people, talking about it, speculating that, oh, well, maybe this is kind of like an alternate universe or an alternate dimension or timeline or this, that, or the other thing. Maybe the remake characters from the remake of Evil Dead will be involved at some point, and it'll be sort of a cross-dimensional thing and all this kind of stuff. I don't really even care. I mean, as long as it serves the story and it's entertaining, as this show has been every episode, every step of the way, I'll be all for it. But I mean, for what it is, it's just phenomenal. It's fantastic seeing Bruce Campbell in anything, really. I mean, I just enjoy his performances. He is a very down-to-earth, likable guy. He's very sort of a realist when it comes to, calling back on his sort of biography, if you will, and making of the Evil Dead franchise, films, whatever you want to say. If Chins Could Kill, he's very brass tacks. He's very down to earth, and he's a straight shooter. And I love those qualities about his performances. Those are things that he exudes even in the performance of a character like Ash. And the rest of the cast, I mean, everybody is pitch perfectly casted. There are twists and turns, especially revolving around the cop Fisher, and one particular scene that's kind of a bum out for me in the last half of the season, involving her character, and it's just kind of a shame, but I'm going to leave it there, let you speculate on what I'm talking about if you haven't seen it already. But that's the thing. I couldn't more highly recommend this series because it's awesome sauce. I'd love to hear from you guys in the comments below. If you've been watching the series, have you been enjoying it? Have you been loving it as much as I have? If not, are you going to give it a, sort of a view? Because you really should. If you have any sort of vague familiarity with Bruce Campbell or the Evil Dead films, you will not be sorry for watching this, because the writing is stellar. The quips that Ash, utters left, right, and center are freaking awesome. It's hilarious. The show's hilarious, but it has heart and it has drama too, and tons of bloody, over-the-top gore. You can't go wrong. It's got something for everybody. So, yeah, as I say, I'd love to hear from you guys in the comments below if you've seen the series, if you've enjoyed it. If not, why not? Let me know in the comments below. Love having that conversation, even if our POVs happen to disagree. And so, yeah, otherwise, that'll be pretty much it for me on this. Can't wait for season 2 of this badass show. And I'll catch you all later. Peace.